The following podcast is a mass media production.
Hey, this is Chad Namiro.
And I'm Kelley Namiro. Welcome to the Balancing Chaos podcast,
A lifestyle podcast where we will interview guests about wellness, business, and just about everything in between.
Our goal is to help you develop a lifestyle that promotes health, wholeness, and success. Through our conversations, we hope to inspire you to live a beautiful, full, and joyful life as you navigate balancing the chaos.
We hope you enjoy.
For our very first episode, we are so excited for you guys to hear our interview with the one and only Mindy Weiss.
Mindy is the Hollywood celebrity party planner. Without question, one of the sweetest and kindest people we know. I'm not sure we would have made it through our wedding without her, to be honest.
Neither am I. Definitely not. In this episode, we talked to Mind about how to connect with others during a pandemic, which has been so challenging, I know. We dish the deets on some of her top-notch celebrity bashes. And then we discuss how planning a wedding is possible even in the middle of a pandemic, even though it might be a little bit challenging. She gives some great tips on how to plan a party on a budget and make a really impactful event. Are you looking for a trusted resource for luxury Las Vegas real estate? The Ivan Share Group is the expert in the luxury Las Vegas real estate market, specializing in high-end homes and luxury high-rise properties. And trust me on this one, Chad and I can attest. They are so amazing. We've been working with them for the last few months on trying to find a new home, and they're showing us the most incredible properties. The Ivan Share Group is a dynamic team of leading real estate experts dedicated to client satisfaction. Their extensive expertise in Las Vegas and Henderson allows them to help luxury home buyers find their dream home, no matter what their needs are. And like I said before, we are super, super specific on what we need, like a playroom for the kids and a home gym and things that not all homes have. And they are really good at showing us exactly what we want to see. They're dedicated to helping you buy, sell, or invest. So contact Ivan and his team today at 702-315-0223 or visit isluxury.com to learn more and learn what they do differently. The Ivan Share Group is luxury, your trusted resource for Las Vegas real estate.
Welcome, everyone, to the Balancing Chaos podcast. My name is Chad. This is my lovely wife, Kelley, and we are very excited about our guest today. She is our dear friend. She is an author, a mother, and a celebrity event planner extraordinaire who's done events for the likes of Justin Bieber, Ellen DeGeneres, and many, many others. It is my great pleasure to introduce Mindy Weiss.
Hi, Mindy. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm very excited. It's fun talking to people that you know.
So how are things in the business thus far? Obviously, it's probably been a challenging year for an in-person event planner.
Yes, it kind of went from 100 to 0 in seconds flat. So in March, when it all happened and the panic started, literally we had to postpone 27 events and reschedule them and find a new date. And since then have had to do that probably 3 more times per person. Oh, wow. And we continue to hear things up and down. We are, for some reason, people want to celebrate the holidays. We do have some of those events. We're setting some tables for Thanksgiving, but it's a whole different business right now.
Yeah, definitely. So for those people who are still doing the smaller events, like the Christmases and the Thanksgiving, and they want to get, a few people together. Yeah. With the holidays quickly approaching, what are some good tips for planning a good event and, make sure you hit all the marks?
Well, right now, because our world is so very different, I'm highly recommending, if budget allows, and you can COVID test your guests, even your family members, it really makes people feel so much better. We had a very small wedding this last weekend. We had everybody come. They were local, show up on Thursday, a few days before. We did our testing, which was the 24-hour testing as opposed to most of my parties are rapid tests, the 15-minute test, but it really takes that one edge off of the worry. So then you can celebrate. It's very hard with, and you want to be responsible and you want to social distance, but what's wonderful about the holidays, it's mostly your family. So you've been quarantining with them, you feel comfortable around them. So that would be number one. If you have out-of-towners coming in, you do have to be careful. One slip can change, a whole event. Then obviously being organized, I think people want to celebrate so bad and they're taking it out on the holidays because, oh my goodness. And people are decorating their houses to the hilts. We've kind of pivoted a bit, and I sort of started a concierge business to keep my staff busy because I didn't want to let anybody go. And they're very angry with me that they have to decorate homes now. I've just kind of switched them all, but I love it. Oh my God, I love it.
So fun.
And so people are spending money on decorating their homes. They want us to set very beautiful tables. So we're trying to really use what they have. You don't need to go out and buy, just to buy. It's amazing how I think I'm a little rooter or voyeur or whatever I am. I love to go into people's cabinets and pull out things that they didn't even know they had. Wedding gifts that they never used. Things that were inherited and never used. So we've really been, I think we've set about 10 Thanksgiving tables coming up, or we're going to be setting about 10 tables. And that's how we just pivoted in this crazy, unexpected, unpredictable situation that we're in.
From there, we talked about a couple of tips for planning right now, but I know that when you planned our wedding, which was the greatest event of all time, if I do say so.
I have to agree with that too. And I never say that, ever. Some work and some don't. And that just seemed to work. Yeah.
Well, yeah, when you planned our wedding, I came to you after going through all of your books that you had written and through Pinterest and all this stuff. And I made a little book with what I wanted my wedding to feel like and look like. But for most people who are trying to plan their wedding, or it could be even like the way that you're setting their table for Thanksgiving, something more simple like that, you suggest for them to come up with some inspiration?
Well, thank God for Pinterest. That has really, for me, has been, and our industry has been a lifesaver. Now, you had the most fabulous book with pictures that were big enough to see. Usually I get teeny little Pinterest pictures, but a lot of my clients don't have a foresight, don't have the know-it-all how to use Pinterest, or how they don't know what they want. They know they want something. They know sometimes they'll use words like, I love vintage, I love modern, and that can really guide me in the right direction. But I highly recommend Pinterest. I highly recommend still with whatever magazines are left. There's not very many anymore. Decorator magazines, Elle Decor, even Vogue. Veranda has amazing florals. I always say, just show me just a few pictures and I could take it from there. But, like yourself, there are some that are organized and really you created this vision, and whatever we couldn't do for the wedding, which we got to do a lot more than I was able to, we were able to do for your rehearsal dinner. So we were able to kind of tie in a lot of the looks, and couples like yourself want to personalize the event. They want people to know whose wedding they're at. And you did that, with your style, with your colors, with the romance.
Yeah, you can make it really, really unique and individualized to who you are as
Exactly, right. Once you have the location, then we start creating the book, the pictures, the illustrations, so that there's some people who are very visual and some people who get it right away. I can walk into a blank ballroom and picture it, which I feel is such a gift to myself, and I'm able to do it. Now, don't ask me to measure a table or to, because they all make fun of me that I fit a size 13 in a size 2 room. You know, I'll get it in there. But from there, then we create our deck, our storybook, which people love, you know, and with COVID and being home, our book has gotten even better. We've elevated it a bit. So then we start off with our welcome area and our ceremony, and we take them through the day. That's our story of what we think they'll want. But, you know, 9 times out of 10, they'll look at it and go, oh, no, you know, and we'll change it up. And then from there, then we schedule, which is one of my favorite meetings, is actually doing a setup for our clients where it becomes 3D, it becomes alive, and we set up a table with the vision that we are hoping that that's through the communication, through the pictures, through all the ideas, that that's what they were hoping for. Sometimes we're off, but we try to hit it or some part of it so that we know where we can go next. And it's really a really fun, exciting day looking at dishes and glasses and the flowers, and I love that. I mean, I love tastings too, when we're actually tasting the food, but I think decor and design. And the more we do with a couple, whether it's a wedding, anniversary, any sort of party, when we could check the list off, when we check that, people get more and more relaxed, you know.
Yeah. The experience of walking into the room and seeing what it was going to look like.
Yeah.
Even like, you're so blown away.
Mm-hmm. Well, we hope for that, yeah.
But the feeling of, oh, wow, this is what my experience is going to be. It's just the most special feeling. And you and your team do the best job at that.
Thank you. That's what we hope for, that the experience, because everyone will say, oh my God, are you so stressed out? You know, to the clients, to the couples, to the family. And I'm hoping that, you know, we can eliminate that. I tend to be a little laid back and I don't get panicky with the client. And people continue to ask me what drugs I'm on, and I keep telling them, I'm just tired, you know. But, you know, I see the sense of humor in it all. You know, you got to laugh at some of it. You know, there's lots of crying, there's lots of emotions, but I mostly, you know, I can find a little bit of a sense of humor with, you know, I take it very seriously, but also if I can get the client to the point of saying, you're right, you know, that is funny, or, you know, it really loosens everybody up a bit.
Okay, I have one more before I let Chad ask a question, but you're on this topic of being stressed out. And I remember at our wedding, it was so funny because it seems so silly now, but I look back and there was like 3 weeks before, we could not figure out what poem my mom and my brother were going to read at our wedding. And it was just a huge ordeal. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so crazy in the scheme of everything. So for people who like are, you know, thinking about stress and how stressed they're going to be on their wedding day, what do you say to clients to keep stress to a minimum? Because you were the force that kept me calm.
Right. Well, I continue to say manage it in a sense that it's one day. Keep your eye on the ceremony, not all the hoopla. Keep your eye on the ceremony. And once I say it's going to have a life of its own, no matter all the ingredients, everything we put into this perfect pie, it's going to bake the way it's going to bake. It's going to overbake, it's going to underbake, it's going to, you know, and I say, but your stress is real. You know, I'm not going to lessen it. You need to feel it, but I hope that I can make it better and make you realize that it seems big now, but on the day, you're not even going to hear those poems, unfortunately. You know, that's why we do video.
Yep.
You just, hopefully you'll hear it, but that was a big deal. Those were important to you. And I don't, disrespect what's making you nervous, or you want it to be right, and I get it. But, I'm there to talk you through it. I wear many hats, many hats. I could be a doctor, a therapist, a stylist, a tailor. I can do it. And it's funny, as I call my younger team members, and they watch me and they laugh, and I go, you'll be doing this. You will be doing this, because I don't want to do this anymore. So you need to do this stuff. This party we had recently, 2 of the team members goes, okay, it's time to fold up all the linens. And I go, oh, I don't do that anymore. I'm sorry. Good night. Good night. I'm just like, yeah. You got to start at the bottom, just like any job. Yeah.
So I read something that you had said, I think it was a few years back, but you said you're responsible for people's memories. And that really rang true with both of us. Yeah, you're in charge of the event, but I think, I don't know if it should be your job, but I think oftentimes it does potentially fall to you and the team is kind of keeping everyone sane and like you said, the eye on the prize. And it's such a big part of it, because there's such a buildup and potential stress that, I think it's the most commonly given advice for people getting married.
It's the most important day of people's lives.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It goes by fast, and just it's going to happen how it happens, like you said, and you got to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't think anything did go wrong in our wedding, but I would say in most.
No. I was actually trying to think about that today. Did anything? It went too fast. Like
it was going on till 5 o'clock in the morning, but it went too fast.
Yeah.
Right.
Longer than most with the no curfew.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That really, doing events in Vegas really, it changes the whole game for us. But, when people say, what would you say is the most difficult part of my job? And I say, I'm happy about this, but I feel it's a great responsibility to be responsible for people's memories like that. Because, this is something that is in your mind. I can't erase it. I don't have no control of it. Yeah. So I would say that's the toughest. Forbes voted us one of the 5 most difficult jobs that exists. And I mean, that's along with policemen and firefighters, but I got to agree with them. I think, we have so many people that say, oh, you're so lucky. And Kelley, I mean, that you've experienced my job, but it's not all that it's cracked up to be, but it sure gives you all the feelings.
Just that wonderful feeling. It's absolutely, I feel like the reward is so big there. But you're right. I actually did a quick internship when I was in graduate school working for an event planner before I ever met you. And I thought that was what I wanted to do. And I was like, oh my gosh, this job is so hard, because you are really managing other people's emotions. So what is the hardest, or what is the toughest bride story that you've had? Or is there one?
It wasn't the bride, it was the groom's mother.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That was, and it happened recently within the last few years. And I just, you get to a certain point in your life where you don't tolerate it anymore, being treated. I know I'm being paid, and I become an employee actually for a limited amount of time. And I respect that, and my job's subservient. I get it. But no longer do you, and especially in our society today, do you want to be treated poorly? So I think that's the hardest, because I'm so sensitive that, there's a difference between someone being angry, and rightfully so, and someone just treating you poorly. So I haven't had and then they talk about bridezillas all the time. Maybe in 32 years, I've had 2, maybe. I have been so lucky with my couples, my brides, and they've been just lovely. But sometimes it's the parents, the in-laws, it's something else. That is the only ingredient that didn't work or something.
Yeah. And I mean, Mindy, you are like the easiest person to get along.
I finally said to this person, I said, "You are so mean." Like, it was like, who are you? And, and that ruined the whole, like, it makes you question what you do with any job. You have an experience and there could be a real bad one and then you question it. But, I've had cake fall, explode and implode and fall. I've had officiants not show up to marry them. I have enough information to write a really funny movie, probably, and people wouldn't believe some of the stuff that happens. But I always say, just add it to the the fun stories that we know. Mm-hmm.
That is amazing, given I guess maybe the perception that celebrities can be hard to work with. That is amazing to hear that after, I think, 32 plus years you've been in the business.
And I find celebrities, they don't have the time. So they're so respectful of time because they're so busy. Yeah. You're scheduled in. You do it like I always said, Kelley, that our meetings were the fastest meetings. Like we would fly into Vegas, bam, we'd be in the questions, that 30 minutes, maybe an hour. We're like on our way out. We're going, wow. That's awesome. We were like, yes. Yeah. And I think that has to do with busy people, respect for time. And that's like a lot of the celebrities. They just want to get what they need to get out and move on and feel that they're involved, and they make the decisions and go from there.
Quickly pausing this episode of the show to let you know that my private one-on-one coaching container is now open. Over the course of 2021, I'm only going to be working with a small, select group of women to help them return to feeling like they're at home in their bodies, to help them lose resistant weight, to feel less anxious and more energized. My one-on-one coaching is truly for you if you're tired of feeling depleted, overwhelmed, bloated, or like you're just not enough. There's no magic pill or cleanse or detox that's going to work. You are really ready to make that commitment to yourself and create the habits that will lead you to hormonal balance and vibrant health. I'm here to help you get to the root cause and create meaningful change. If you're feeling called to work with me so that you can finally feel at home in your body, head to the link in the show notes to learn more.
So on the celebrity topic, I think you started out in invitations, right? And then I think one of your first big celebrity events was Andre Agassi's and Brooke Shields' wedding. So the question is, how did you really get into that business? Because, for our listeners who might not be aware, you are pretty much the de facto celebrity event wedding.
Thank you. I think one of the main things is I live in LA. I'm surrounded. There's a big population here. Well, with Brooke and Andre, that was my very first celebrity experience. And I got the job from an assistant of Brooke's, but I didn't know who was coming in, because that typically is what happened. They don't tell you right away and stuff. All of a sudden, Brooke Shields walked in with a big container that we use now to be organized. And, then seeing someone come in with a big plastic container, you're like, wow. And she had all her dreams in that box. Everything that she wanted, she sat right on the floor, because I'm always sitting on the floor. That's kind of my thing. And it was awesome. But I was so naive to what was going to happen. Yeah. I mean, I've heard of paparazzi, but I never, you're in LA, so you see it. It doesn't even faze you. And that I find that if you do a celebrity event and it goes well, then it's like their own community. Oh, well, she did that and it was good and they trusted her. And so I think that's why I got more celebrities hire me. And then you make friends, you just you get that addiction. What happens is once you have someone doing everything for you and, coming up with ideas, or I always say I'm an encyclopedia of anything. I love the challenge. You want pink underwear with white trim or whatever you want, I feel I can find it.
You can.
I can find it, and I'm up for the challenge. Yes, I drive my kids crazy with it, but I'll find it.
So from there, you really started your career. So you had your career before that, but
yeah, it was on the cover of People magazine. It was success. The marriage wasn't successful, but the wedding was very successful. I would say I'm not responsible for the marriage, just the wedding. Yeah. Yeah. So from there, then it started trickling in,
How many events were you doing a year?
Back then, maybe 12 events.
And what about?
And now I have 5 event planners.
Yeah.
Our busiest year probably was last year. We did 110 events.
Wow.
It's a lot because you also include small birthday parties. My favorite are kids' birthday parties, of course, and showers. I love those because typically they're during the day and it's only 2 to 3 hours and you get to do fantasy like cuteness. And
which reminds me, I need to call you about West's first birthday.
Yes, it's coming. I'm ready. Yeah.
How the West was ONE.
Oh
That's
my God, shut up. That is so cute.
So excited.
I don't know if I would have come up with that one.
I'm calling you and we're planning it.
Oh my God, that's brilliant. You got it in you. You either have it or you don't have it. You have it, definitely. Yeah.
You must have so many repeat customers because, ideally you only have one wedding, but
right.
But you have baby showers, birthdays, and so
mm-hmm. And I call them legacy clients. I've gone through their whole life. I've done birth announcements. Well, I actually did the Kardashians' birth announcements, the first 4, Kourtney, Kim, Khloe, and Rob. Mm-hmm. That's how long I've been with them. And then they moved, and then I stopped doing stuff for them. And then just 5 years ago was invited back. So they become this, legacy client where I go from birth announcements all the way through to their weddings.
Yeah.
I used to be the young hip planner. Now I'm catching up to all the moms and all that.
You are the young hip planner.
I'm trying to stay hip. I'm trying to stay in there. But I hire really cool people. So there, I'm still,
Oh, yeah.
When did you first start working with the Kardashians?
I started actually my first party. I knew Chris because I worked at this little stationery store where everybody ordered their birth announcements, their stationery. Everybody wrote letters then, and every invitation was printed, not digital. Yeah. And then I actually did Kim's first birthday party, but I wasn't a party planner yet. I just helped, on all the cute stuff. And Chris had great taste. She was a party girl, and that is why all her kids love to celebrate because she put it in them.
Yeah.
All their great memories, they want to keep celebrating because they remember the feelings, that they had. So, and then they had another event planner, and then Kim hired me for Chris's 60th. And that's when we all started again.
Together.
Wow. Full circle.
I think that's why, we talked about it a little bit, but I think that's why so many of your clients do keep coming back, right, Mint? Because there are things that you do within events that make the experiences so, so memorable. And that is what your gift is. That is what you
Thank
are.
you.
So I have a 2-part question for you. The first part, what if someone's planning an event on their own? What are a couple of small things that they can do to make the experience memorable for their guests? And then the second thing is, now that we live in a world that is so focused on that device that is in our hands, our smartphones, how do you get people to be more present and in the moment when they're at an event?
Both good questions. The first one is you have to personalize it. Yeah. How do you make it your own? I think a party at home is the best party you can have because already it's personalized, right? Mm-hmm. Serving the food that you eat and your guests may enjoy. Being conscious to what people eat, gluten-free, like being sensitive to people's needs. I'm telling you, you have one guest that may be gluten-free, but you've made a little dessert area for her. You will have that memory in that person's head forever because that makes a perfect hostess. Yeah, you guys would be happy. Yeah. But, if you are inviting people to your home or to a party, maybe it's not in your home, it's not all about you. It's not all about you. It's you are inviting these people in. And I always tell my clients that let's make it about you, but for them, right? So when they walk in, they would say, oh, this is so, Kelley and Chad, this is so, this reminds me of, how they might eat and how they may serve. And so I really have to pull it out of them. Of who they are, and I have to learn quick if I don't know them. And that is really important when you're planning your own party. It's not all about the money that you're spending. It's about the feeling that they're leaving with, So you don't need 20 activities for the kids, but I'll tell you, a coloring book and crayons and some empty boxes that you've made a house out of, these are things that the kids remember, and it doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
And remember, the 99-cent store has great little secrets there. So that's a great place to go.
You did our rehearsal dinner, the video that we made. It doesn't cost anything to put together a video of old photos, but the way that left everyone feeling of all these old memories of Chad and I, it's just pulls on your heart.
Well, it's pulling on your heart. It's making you laugh. You're hitting all the emotions, The food gives you the scent, so you're remembering what you ate. So you're hitting all what you're hearing, if I could hit every scent that people are experiencing, then it typically is a very successful event without costing a fortune, which now, we're always conscious of. I'm fortunate I get very nice budgets and things, but there's always a budget, there's always a limit, and, you have to work hard to really not spend the money, and wake up the next morning and go, oh, why did I do that? When if you dig deep into you, it will be just successful.
So do you feel like when you're hitting those 5 senses, that's really what keeps people off of their phones and from getting distracted?
Well, no. On to the phones. The phones have been such a challenge, I'm sure, as you know, because from the minute people walk in, they're taking pictures, they're worried about posting it, they want to get everything up, and without thinking, what we suggest, we do really great signage about, give your phone a break. We have a phone station. Please check them in. You can come check them on your children. We make it really easy. But keep your memory in your head and not on your phone. And we will give you pictures. We will, give you pictures. Look, Kim's party just in Tahiti, she just had a great birthday party. She just said, guys, don't post anything. Let's not let them know where we are. Let's enjoy this island we're on. I'm telling you, people were
Yes.
like almost relieved. It's a job. Well, it's a job. It's part of your job, and it's constant. And when you don't have to do it. Now, on the way home, she said, okay, post what you want, let's edit it a little, but post what you want. And it really made a difference. It made a difference. It's making a difference in my weddings because in their pictures, they're not having their phones up, and now people at the beginning, it was very hard to get their phones out of check their phones in.
Yeah.
And I understand it. I am the same way on my phone, but give them 30 minutes and they start decompressing off the phone. It's amazing. They do.
I remember we had signage for our ceremony.
And people checked their phones in at ours. We were like nervous about it, but I didn't want exactly what Mindy said. I didn't want people to turn around when I walked and there's all phones out.
Yes. And that's the picture. That's the picture. People are much more amenable to it. They get it. Now they get it. It's kind of an old thing, but at the beginning, even with my celebrity events, imagine me getting the phones out of their hands. Yeah, it was tough. Yeah,
and there's that element of security and privacy that's just so.
And also now we give them a warning, like with the invitation or with an email. We're so excited to see you next week. This is a no-so, phone wedding. No,
There's been so much talk of the magic of playing an event, being there in person, down to every detail. Just, we're 7+ months into a very deadly pandemic. Have you been able to capture that magic in some of your digital events? I mean, is that possible? I certainly think it.
Well, what's happening is that, and it's going to happen more, is so my big weddings, they decided they really want to get married no matter what on that date. People are very attached to their dates, It's a commitment to that date. And so we've been doing what they call macro matrimonies. I call them mini matrimonies. Mm-hmm. But 3 of them so far have said, you know what? And they've had between 10 to 30 people. Yeah. And they're saying, that was enough for us. Yeah. That was enough for us. And we're not going to have we're going to buy a house. They're like, we'll buy a house and stuff. So I think people are realizing you don't have to entertain as much. You don't have to be as on, because the people who are there are typically your family and your really closest. You don't have all the bridesmaids. You don't have but it's enough. Apparently it's enough for 3 of them so far, and
everyone.
Yeah.
Even if your wedding's large like ours, I mean, those 30 people, give or take, are the ones you gravitate towards.
Oh yeah, you had your posse. You had it was about 30 people, and you saw, so close in those relationships. I mean, I hope my big weddings don't go away, but as long as they keep hiring us for any part of their celebration.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, Mind, this time has gone by super fast. We wrap up with our podcast with some quick fire questions. So we want you to answer whatever comes to mind first. So you want to ask the first one?
Okay.
So what is your morning routine?
Coffee First. I don't even pick up the phone before my coffee. So coffee, shower. Am I going to exercise? Probably not. Back and forth. Waver. But, and then, now I work from home until I go into the office. So that's my morning routine right now.
So you're still not going to the office at all at this point?
Well, I could. They're all going. It's just my excuse now. I don't want to go. It's my excuse for everything.
I've always been working from home. There's not a big change for me.
Oh, I love it. Working from home.
Yeah. Okay, what is the best thing that you've eaten this week?
Oh, my daughter-in-law cooked, so we had pumpkin chocolate chip bread.
Ooh, yum.
Ooh, so good. I'm still thinking about it.
Very good.
Mhm.
If you're a color, what would you be?
I would be nude. I'm obsessed with nude color now.
Yeah.
Nude with a touch of blush.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That first of all, that's gonna be I think my sister's wedding color. She
Oh yeah.
But I would say like I was thinking you were gonna say something like super vibrant because I feel like you're just like this vibrant personality
That, but now I'm not. I'm in that kind of mellow,
mode.
beautiful, maybe some lipstick, maybe. Yeah. I'm in that kind of
Yeah.
monochromatic. I was going to say pink at first, but I thought, with my grandkids here, my life is pink. So now I'm going into the other part of pink, into the nudie blush. Yeah.
I've seen some pink in a few baby showers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, me too. My whole closet's pink.
What is on your nightstand?
Pictures of my husband and I, a wedding picture, pictures of my two granddaughters, a vintage lamp, a beautiful vintage lamp from the 50s, and my hydro flask filled with ice water.
That's what we got.
Have to have it. There it is. That's a big one.
I've never drank water my whole life until now. There's something about this straw.
I love the straw.
Yeah,
I
she
know. No. Yeah.
would not commit to it unless I bought her the straw, and now I'll never see her without it.
It's crazy. There's something, I don't know what it is, but
Any good books, Min? Are you a reader?
I used to be, but I can't even lie. The last thing I read was Michelle Obama's book, which I thought was really motivating. Before that, Shonda Rhimes, The Year of Yes, really inspiring. But, you know, I love to just surf the web way too much. That's where I get all my inspiration. Seriously, I can colors, Pantone colors, fashion shows. I mean, look at your wedding. We got the Dior fashion show in there. My dream.
that purple flower
Oh my God. Okay. Like when I asked your parents if it was okay, it was like, oh yes. Because she got it. Your mom, like, yes, she knew exactly what I wanted to do.
It was stunning.
I didn't think that was even possible.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what it was. I think the guys are just, in some ways along for the ride, and shell shocked.
Oh yeah, you don't even know the things that are possible that they can create.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's getting better and better. It's getting more
It
creative.
doesn't matter how many mood boards you see or visualizations. It's never even close to what you experience.
And you touch it. Yeah.
You don't even.
I remember that picture of you guys, the backs of you walking into the tunnel.
Yes.
I love that picture. I love that picture. Yeah.
We were talking about it the other day when we were talking about my sister getting married. This is the word for our wedding. If you could put it down into one word, it was a fairy tale. Like the whole thing. It was a.
Yeah. And that's how she describes it. She goes, my sister had the fairy tale, and she's more ethereal. Like, yeah, she's more about the light. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's gonna be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Min, give our listeners your best tip for balancing the chaos of life.
You know better than most.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the best tip, and I must admit, I think it comes with a little bit of age, a little bit of life lessons, that what you think is extremely important today, which it is for you, will not have the feeling that it did a week from that moment. Yeah. And I want to talk it out. I want to do it. I'll listen and everything, but it's like a mountain. We're going to climb that peak together. But next week, you'll already be over the mountain. So think about how much energy you want to put in that. And my favorite saying is, and I got it from Joel Osteen, don't put a question mark where God has put a period. That is how I go through life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't keep questioning it. And it's done. It's done. We're going to move on. It's hard to do. It's hard to do, but that's what I tell them. Let's move on. Let's move on.
And how can you learn from that experience?
It's changed everything, the way I think about things. And it's amazing that I listen to Joel Osteen. We have different religious beliefs and stuff, but I get so much from it. I take so much and I try to bring it into my job, my business and stuff.
I love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be, it was the biggest day of our lives, but then shortly thereafter.
There was another big day in your life. Yes. Yes.
Perfect. Nothing, it was absolutely perfect. And nothing went wrong at ours, but if anything went wrong at somebody else's, I'm sure nobody else notices.
Exactly. 100%. Nobody knows. And there are things that go wrong, but you don't know. I don't tell anybody what goes wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
I was interviewed recently and they said, how do you justify your fee? And I said, well, if someone dies, you won't know it. And I got hired.
Oh, so good. Mindy Weiss, thank you so much for being on our podcast.
Thank you, guys. I'm honored that you asked me, and you guys are going to be the perfect podcast. Yes.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Mwah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Off to the grandkids.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for listening.
Please make sure you rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. You can also connect with us on social media at Wellness by Kelley. Drop us a DM for who you want to hear from.